reflect and grieve for her. How do we know this? The Torah tells us that immediately after her death, there was no more water. The Air Miriam had dried up. And the people reacted to that instead of her death. Instead of feeling their loss, they went directly to Moses and Aaron and yelled and complained about being thirsty. Yes, they were physically thirsty, but I think it is safe to assume that the people were sad and scared about losing the spiritual connection that Miriam gave them. And they were uncomfortable with these feelings. Instead of facing their fears and emotions, they turned into anger. As the Torah says, Vayarav ha'am im Moshe. The people argued with Moses. They declared, "Why did you bring us to this desert, so we and our livestock should die? Why did you take us out of Egypt in the first place and bring us to this terrible place? There are no plants here, no figs, grapes, or pomegranates. Now there isn't even any water to drink." So now Moses was getting attacked by the people he had helped all along. It's not hard to imagine what he was feeling. Imagine losing your older sister, the one who had saved your life many times. Instead of having the time to mourn his beloved sister, Moses had to react fast. He had to squash his sad feelings and instantly get into business mode. This must have felt terrible. When we don't feel our vulnerable feelings, we often get crappy. Moses and Aaron went to the entrance of the communion tent and just fell on their faces to pray. They prayed and prayed to God to help them. God told Moses to assemble all the people by a huge rock and speak to the rock to get water. But with all of the people yelling and complaining, Moses was under enormous pressure. His vulnerable and sad feelings had turned into anger because he simply didn't have time to feel them. So Moses did not do as God told him to do. Instead of talking to the rock, he struck the rock, not once, but twice. Water gushed out, and all of the people and their livestock drank. But something had gone very wrong. Moses had hit the rock rather than talking to it as God had instructed him to do. Why should he talk to the rock? Isn't that a bit strange? That would have been Miriam's way, talking to nature instead of smashing it. Moses' temper had gotten the better of him, understandably, and for this he was severely punished. He was unable to go into the Holy Land. Also, Moses' angry outburst had shown a lack of faith in front of the children of Israel, and faith was something they needed to see. When he yelled at the people and hit the rock, it looked like he lost his faith in God to take care of their needs. And so the people kept wandering in the desert. And then it became Aaron's time to go. Once again, Moses loses a sibling. Aaron is buried and everybody mourns his death. But now Moses is left as the only ruler of the Jewish people and the only sibling. How sad. There is one last part of the drama. The people have been through so much, and once again they begin to, complain. Surprise, surprise. I mean, you never thought about it. Jews complaining? Moses and God were sick of the complaining. God finally couldn't handle it. The people had not faced their fears, and instead of feeling their loss and vulnerability, they were still complaining. So God sent fiery snakes to punish the people for all of their complaining. The people begged Moses to pray to God for them, and he did. God tells him to do something quite odd. Wrap a huge copper snake around a copper pole and holds it up high in the sky where all of the people can gaze upon it when they get bit. And when they did this, they lived and were not harmed by the snake. This was God's way of making the people face their fears, by being forced to stare at the object of their fears, but to look up, not down, so they would